Welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred, right here in San Antonio, Texas. Well, today we're going to take on the topic of old and young. This is a young brother, very dynamic brother. I'm an old brother and like to think I was dynamic also.
Definitely.
And I can remember my years like you.
Right.
And what we're going to discuss today is how we deal with bridging this gap
Yes, sir.
between you and between me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But before we do that, let me introduce Jerome Clemens
Yes, sir.
to the viewers.
Yes, sir.
And Jerome has a record label called Black Monopoly Entertainment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also has a clothing line.
Yes, sir.
Exquisite Culture
Yes, sir.
Clothing.
Yes, sir.
And it's all right here in San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
So before we get started, won't you tell our viewers a little bit about Jerome?
about Jerome, I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved here because of Katrina, and that was in '05. I was about 11, 12 years old. My pops is originally from Bastrop, Texas, so over in the Austin area. That's where we came through after Katrina when it hit. And
Right.
so I went to high school and intermediate kind of through those years, all through in Bastrop.
In Bastrop?
And then I ended up going to college some way, somehow I made it. And
Good. Yeah.
that was down south, more down south over in Kingsville.
Okay.
Kind of like in the Corpus Christi area in the valley. So I went down there. I graduated college with a bachelor's in marketing.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, definitely. I give it to the Most High. But so I
Well,
did
you can take a little credit too.
a little bit because I didn't
Yeah.
quit.
That's right.
Because
You
I didn't quit. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I did that, and then I ended up going back to the Austin area, worked there for a little bit, moved to Houston, worked there for a little bit, and then now I'm here in San Antonio.
Wow. You were 11 when Katrina hit.
Yes, sir.
What was that like for an 11-year-old kid?
It was very. It's just really a life experience, you know. I read in this book, The Laws of Human Nature, that every generation there's something traumatic happens, right? So for me, in my generation, I would say it would be 9/11 and then Katrina for
But
my
those are
first-
really two drastic
right, exactly.
events.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can go to the ones before us, and it just depends, you know, how you keep going. You just got to follow the events, right?
Uh-huh.
And so for me, those are my two events that happened.
Okay.
And also, of course, the house market crashing. But with Katrina, it was just learning how to adapt. You know,
Okay,
us
yeah.
as humans, that's what we have to do, and especially us as Black folks, that's what we have to do.
We've been doing
learn how
that
to adapt.
Centuries, haven't we?
Exactly. And that's what it really was about. It was definitely a different change coming from Louisiana to Texas, because at first, when we first got here, it was welcoming, and then some places and certain people wasn't so welcoming.
In what way? They weren't friendly?
I don't want to say not necessarily friendly. It's just it's a culture shock, and it's different because you also got to think, because in New Orleans we have our own culture and we do things a little different from just certain places like sort of say Houston or Austin or Bastrop. You know, Bastrop, a small country town.
Yeah, my sister lives in Bastrop.
Yeah, so you
So I
know.
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So
One HEB right up there on, is it 71?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. One Walmart too.
Good Walmart, yeah.
And so it's just for the fact that I'm coming from this big city, and you know, mainly seeing majority Black folks and Asians. I didn't know of a Mexican until I got to Texas. To be
Oh,
honest.
really?
I swear. I remember the day when I first saw a Mexican person. It was in school. Bless you. It was in school, and I'm sitting there talking to one of my homies, and I see this girl, and then I asked him. I was like, "Yo, what is she?" Like,
Really?
She's not Korean. She's not a Vietnamese, because I had a Korean neighbor.
Uh-huh.
So that's, you know, I knew that gap,
Okay.
but I never seen someone that wasn't necessarily dark or light skinned, but brown,
Okay,
like
wow.
strictly brown. And then so he laughed at me. He was just like, "She's Mexican, fool." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's a Mexican?"
Really? Oh, you're only 11 years old.
I'm only 11 years
Yeah,
old, and so and I mean, we traveled between Bastrop and New Orleans, thanks to my dad. Because every time hurricane season or Mardi Gras and everything would kind of, we'd get a week off from school, he'll take off work and we'll go down to see the folks.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the subject here. There seems to be more today than in my generation, the communication
Yes, sir.
between the elders and the young folks.
Yes, sir.
And I want to reach out to you
I appreciate it.
and ask, does it really exist? And if it does, how do we deal with it?
The communication does exist, and I think I'm actually living proof of that. I grew up around a lot of older folks, you know, and some say that I would have an older soul for my age and stuff like that. I grew up in a family business. We had a bar, and it was more of the crowd there was majority older folks. So I've been around older folks all my life.
Okay.
I've been to many funerals. I've been to just family unions where it's majority older folks, not that many young kids are there. There's a few, but it's majority people of older age. And so I just really learned to sit back, take in game, and listen, right? When it comes to the gap, I believe a major problem that I see personally is it's not that us young folks aren't really receptive to what older folks are saying or anything like that, but it's a lot of the times that it's what mainly gets pointed out is negativity instead of some of the positive things that we actually do and go about.
Okay, so you need reinforcement on the positive as much as when you get the negative.
Yes, sir. I think, and this is my personal opinion, right? If we went on and talked about some of the positive things that happens that we do and cultivate, and then you kind of give us a little support on that and say good job, keep going, and then throw in a little bit of game on how to change some of the negative things or just change for a better to make it even more positive, to say hey young brother, you probably could go a little further if you change your act up a way a little bit over here, or look at this over here, or check this out, for example. And I think we'll be more receptive to that instead of just saying, hey, you're always doing this wrong or doing that wrong, and sort of.
Let's talk about the negative. I taught at UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
And I remember a class, this young brother comes into my class with his pants, his drawers are showing.
Yes, sir.
His pants are down, you know how they wear them.
Yes, sir.
And after class, I called him aside, said, I don't want you to come to my class like that.
Right.
And he got belligerent.
He got mad.
He got mad, yeah. he got mad.
Yeah.
He wasn't willing to listen to me say, no one wants to see your drawers.
Right.
And so how do we reach out to these young, and I think a lot of folks my age are almost, I'm not, but I think so, are afraid to even go say something to them.
Some may be intimidated.
Because it's almost like, are these young folks trying to, it's like a chip on the shoulder, and they're asking, they're trying you. They're saying, try to knock that chip off, and I'll show you what you get. So the pants down. I mean, because it makes no sense. Can you explain it to our viewers?
Understand how it doesn't make sense. I think I can't necessarily speak on behalf of the whole youth culture as of why we sag or certain things like that. It just kind of went with the trends as a fashion and certain things of how people wear certain clothes. I know back in the early days, they used to do this, what you call them?
Dashiki?
Not the dashikis, but you put on, when you didn't wear a belt, you done with the, oh my gosh, you done, the suspenders.
Oh, okay.
Suspenders, right? And that was to keep your pants up.
Right.
Nowadays, my culture is It's a broken culture, such as we didn't get the chance to see a lot of lawyers out on the corner or doctors. You know, those weren't outside in the neighborhood. They moved out of the
They
hood.
moved out of the neighborhood.
Exactly. So you don't get to see that. So when we walk outside, the first thing you see is the D-boy. The first thing you see is the nice car, the women, the jewelry,
D-boy.
the clothes.
My
Dope
viewers
boy.
may not know what that is.
Dope boy.
Dope boy.
That's what you see. You see the neighborhood hustler that may even gave back to the community in certain ways, but not everybody really might know unless you were there to see it. And so that's what we're seeing when we walk outside. And then so that's what we strive to be like, because we didn't have the other role models and examples to be like that. And nobody came and say, hey, look, this came straight from they graduated from your high school. You know, you can be like this too. We didn't get to see that. We saw the person that dropped out and is making $1 million right now. And that's what the example.
And you don't
comes
see
from.
the end result of that.
You don't. Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. There's only a very exceptional few that actually makes it out, but majority they don't.
No, and dope dealers going to eventually end up in prison or end up dead.
Exactly.
I don't think you retire comfortably from. There may be a few, but I don't think there's a
There's
whole lot.
some. You know, the thing is, I think where it comes to dope dealing is you have some people, and it's also the same thing with some women that strip, right? Because it would be the equivalent, really. And the thing is, where it comes down to is sometimes, and normally they're trying to do it for a better life. It's because they're not. You gotta think of it as of living up or growing up in these homes, the broken homes. Sometimes the father isn't there or the mother might not be there, whatever it is. You know, you got a lot of pressure on your back to where you see your mom or your elder that's going through and grinding a lot and doing a lot of hard work to
And not really
do
making
certain
it.
things. And then so you're like, well, man, I'm tired of putting pressure on them. I gotta go do it myself. And so instead of trying to get a check every single 2 weeks and slaving and cleaning up toilets and sweeping and the long hard work of 20 years, when you can make that in a couple months,
And they'll take the risk.
whenever, and they're willing to take the risk.
risk,
Exactly. That's what it comes down to.
Where's that going to lead us? I mean, can there be a positive outcome from that, or do they even think like that?
They can. It's changing. It really
You
is
think so?
changing. It really is. It
That's
really
encouraging
is.
to hear.
Yeah, it is changing. I see a lot of stuff on my Instagram. I mean, of course, that's according to what I'm interested in and following, but just around a lot of big blogs and platforms. They've been posting a lot of people of color that's been going through graduating Morehouse and Spelman and Howard and just other colleges also, and just doing big things such as you got young kids now making their own business. I mean, that's big. That's huge if you ask me. You know, you're
Okay.
talking about little bitty, 11 years old type deal, writing books. So,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
you got that going on. You got people that's graduating with doctor's degrees, actual lawyers, and people that's striving to do something different and better. Because honestly, the thug mentality is starting to get old.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really starting to get old. Yeah, surprisingly, it's really starting to get old.
Yeah.
So, you know, it swifts. Every 4 generations comes a change. It just recycles.
Okay.
Every 4
Because
generations.
that thug mentality, it's always amazed me how our young girls like the thug.
It's a broken home. It's the broken
Broken home?
You know, you like we say, you grow up with these young girls are only seeing their mothers.
And
So
no-
they
no
don't
man-
they don't
no.
have that man at home.
Okay.
A lot of the times that I see personally with nowadays is a lot of these girls are looking for dads.
Okay.
That's what they're looking for. They're looking for dads. So they're looking for a father figure that's going to be strong, that's probably has respect, that probably has some money,
And that's the thug.
and that's normally what you see. They got some respect, they got some money, and you know they probably ain't really getting messing with a bullied over like that.
Yeah. What was that word?
Bullied. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just said bullied over, but
Okay.
you know, just not being pushed over.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and the predators are out there. I believe the predators are out there looking for them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's always. I think all of us are being looked out for, such as law enforcement, government, certain things like that aspect. the black man is really at danger right now. And
yeah.
a lot of us don't really see it or know it. You just have to really wake up one day and smell the roses.
Hold that point, because I want to come back to that.
No problem.
Okay, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with you. Discussions with the writer Fred, here with Jerome Clements, my young brother.
Yes, sir.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Pre-diabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
40% of food in America is never eaten.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do it like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
Told me to make it big.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hello, I'm Tony Hendricks, Chief Operating Officer at Lewis Funeral Home. Lewis Funeral Home has been serving San Antonio and surrounding areas for over 100 years. Lewis Funeral Home's ultimate goal is to help those families in their time of need. If your family is ever in need, please feel free to call us at Lewis Funeral Home, 210-227-7281, or check us out on our website at lewisfuneralhome.com.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred. And I'm here with my special guest for today, this young brother, Jerome Clemens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And let's just pick up where we left off.
Okay.
But we were talking about the possible extinction of the black race.
Yes, sir.
And let me give you my little theory here. See, after slavery ended, white folks didn't want us here.
Right.
We came here as machines to do a job.
Yes, sir.
To increase their profits under capitalism. By the way, I kind of wonder how any black person can believe in capitalism as a result of what it did to our people, our ancestors. You know, it was capitalism for slavery and tenant farmers and all that.
Yeah.
But after slavery, they didn't want to share this country with us.
Not at all.
And I think there's only two reasons they didn't do what Hitler tried to do with the Jews in Germany, extermination, was the Bible and the Constitution. So they took a different approach. That slowly poison our minds so that we would hate each other and we would do, and now we would have had over 150 years for that poisoning to take effect. And I'm wondering about, like in Chicago, I think last week they had over 40 shootings. And they'll probably have some here in San. They're all over the place, man.
It's everywhere.
And so I want to ask you, as a young brother, what's happened when these brothers can look another brother in the face and call him a dog nigger and pull the trigger? Is that part of the racial self-hatred? What is it?
Mental illness.
Yeah.
It's mental illness. You know, they say where a lot of pollution is at, high crime rate is always there. So if our neighborhoods have a lot of pollution, trash, the water system is broken. I know there's some places where you're drinking contaminated water. Flint, obviously, their water still isn't fixed.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, Detroit has a high crime rate also. Like I said, I'm from New Orleans. We were actually the murder capital for a while.
Yeah.
So
I think every city's taking a turn.
Every city's taking a turn. But the thing is, we got worse after Katrina. So it's like, and you also got to think about that. And then, so it's just those things as a mix. And then just people are out here stressed and tired of living certain ways. And it's how we were talking about earlier, where people are willing to take those risks. They're willing to take those risks. And if it could be one day somebody, quote unquote, could be hating on you and maybe envying you and want what you got or something like that, you know, that could lead to certain things. It could be certain things as turf wars.
Turf wars over land that you don't even own.
That you don't own, exactly. But
now,
that's
how crazy
we're
is
brainwashed.
that?
That's how we're brainwashed. Crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, people are fighting over houses that ain't even theirs.
That's not theirs. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the man comes along and puts them all out.
Exactly. Exactly. And then we're all looking for somewhere to stay.
Stay, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's mental illness. It's mental illness. I mean, we was waiting for it to get fixed. And the only way for that to get fixed, and I think, is for us to finally accept the change, and we all have to fix ourselves first before we can fix anybody else.
You know, I used to do creative writing courses for the Zora Neale Hurston Festival in Florida.
Okay.
And in the creative writing courses, I'd be doing the creative writing courses. Then outside, there'd be these brothers rapping with the bees and the hoes and all this other stuff.
Right.
All the creative writing students were white. Then I went outside, all the black folks around the music.
Right.
You know, and I'm saying, wow, how did this happen, man? I mean, how did it happen? We've had, centuries that we've been here, but is it coming to an end now? Has all the mental anguish that we suffered and the poisoning of our minds about who we are, you know, the minstrel shows and all this other stuff, is it coming near an end now? And is the extermination of the black race in America nearing? We may not be around for it, but you know, in 100 years.
I don't think the black man could ever be exterminated, to be honest with you. You know, we're the first people, we're gonna always be here.
I'm talking about here in this country.
I'm talking about here in this country too. I still don't see it happening. There's always gonna be a black brother somewhere, because you gotta think about it. Every time you see a white show or a white crew, they always got the one token black guy.
But it's a token. They'll let him last until they get rid of the rest of them. Then they'll get rid of him.
Right, but he gonna have kids with somebody.
But the kids are killing each other.
Not
Are they
all
going,
of
what's the rate? Do you know the rate of young brothers going to prison is extremely high?
It is extremely high, but that's
you put a brother in prison.
Also, not really on us though. I mean, I'm not saying.
But that's my point.
Right.
That's the point I'm making. It's not on us. It's what's done to us.
Right.
What has been done to us over the centuries.
Right.
And I'm wondering, you called it mental illness.
Yes,
And you're blaming it on the pollution. I'm suggesting that it may have been a plot, a scheme.
Oh no, it is. It's everything that's. I mean, I was watching an interview with Dick Gregory last night, right?
Oh, tough brother,
right? You know, God bless the dead. And he tried to draw a stick figure. Can you draw a black stick figure? There's no such thing.
Right.
You don't know how.
Right.
That's how deep it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's really how deep it is. You see what I'm saying? It's really stuck inside of us. We already went through it. So now you're trying to go through and break that change in that mode. And, you know, I don't have the questions of how to do that. That's not my job. God didn't give me that job, you know. He gave me the job of doing music and being creative with music and fashion, and to go about and try to change the world that way.
But I think it is you. I think it's me.
Right.
You write music, I write novels.
Yes, sir.
And if we both, and some people draw paintings,
yes, sir.
If we all decided we're only going to do positive images,
right?
If I only write positive stories about our history and our culture, you create positive music,
right?
Which existed at one time. I think even for a while with the rap music, it was positive.
It still got some.
But then you come along with this niggas with attitudes.
Yeah.
And that's all negative.
Right.
That's all negative.
Well,
there's nothing positive about that stuff.
It depends on what perspective you're looking at it. If you look at it with a narrow perspective, then you will only see a narrow view of it. If you look at it, I'm a big picture guy, you know. So
okay, give me the big
I look
picture.
at the big picture as a whole. These guys, when they started rapping and stuff like that, right? And of course, you know, they came out with F the Police and all these stuff like that. In the neighborhood, if you've seen the movie NWA, you know, I can't go to say of how factual and true the whole movie is, but they say they got it down to as much as they could. There was the moment where Ice Cube came out of Dr. Dre's house, and the first thing he see is the homie over there getting hemmed up, and they up and down the street when they was doing the stop and search, stop and frisk, and they're frisking everybody saying where the dope at, and not everybody selling dope. Didn't nobody even have dope.
Okay.
And then you hear him, he say, we the only gang around here, nigger. You know, keep moving, keep it pushing.
Okay.
So, you know, you can't go up to him and just start fighting him, because then you're gonna end up dead. So instead, they went to writing, into creativeness, into music, and to express themselves that way. Now, if you choose to listen, that's on you. If you don't choose to listen, then you don't.
What do you say when you say F the police?
What do you
okay,
say?
you're a young brother. Okay, you're 12 years old.
Right.
And you're listening to this, and these guys, you just love them.
Right.
And they're good role models. I mean, Ice Cube's done some great things since then. And you're listening to them, you say, wow, F the police.
Right.
So I want to walk down the street, please pull me over. I'm going to say, I can say F you. What have you just done?
Well, that's the thing. You probably won't. That's no way. I don't think you will. But this is also the mentality. You got to think about this. So let's just take out the hood mentality and just the neighborhood mentality. Let's say you're a doctor.
Okay.
Right? You're driving down the highway.
Right.
You see them lights turn on behind you.
Right.
You grip that steering wheel.
Absolutely.
You say, oh, damn, what I done did now?
Yeah.
And he zoomed right past you. He wasn't even after you.
Okay.
What makes you think he was after you?
It's
already in us.
I think that's just a natural for anyone. I don't think it's a black thing.
You say that, but
that's
but
anybody. You think they're gonna pull you over?
I mean, I don't see. I don't. There's been a few people in a few cases that, you know, they actually welcome the police. You know, they might say, "Oh, was my headlight out?"
But isn't that where we want to get to?
That's where we want to get to. But how can we when all you see all day is the marketing of black brothers being shot dead in the street with their hands up. Not much really positivity of the police helping the black community.
Because you only see that part.
That's all you see.
You don't see the part where the blacks...
Where they're actually helping.
They're helping.
Exactly.
You know, I was around when, in the 70s, late 60s, when we went off on the police. Get the police out of our community. Get the police out of our neighborhoods. We don't want you in here. They left, and what happened?
Well, then the Bloods and Crips came about.
And then also, I remember my wife and I were from D.C. Over one weekend, these brothers broke into an 80-year-old black woman's house and stole her check and killed her. That happened twice. Right here in San Antonio, when I was working on a candidate's campaign, the ladies came in and says, "You have to do something. We don't feel safe walking down the street." So this is all a result, and I'm not arguing with you about the police being wrong. Okay, but we can't look at that way for all the police, man, because then our neighborhoods are vulnerable.
They are. But I think that was the main reason and the mission of the Crips and the Bloods, you know. They were there to protect the neighborhood, and the government got involved. The next thing you know, somebody's trying to find out how their cousin got killed, and they found out it's from the other side, and so it starts a turf war.
Okay, you get it. I'm great. It's great we're having this conversation.
Yes, sir.
Because you're bringing that perspective. I don't know that perspective because I can't see how. I remember I was around the Panthers started.
The Panthers, yes, sir.
Yeah, and they were about more breakfasts and protecting the community. That's
Yes, sir.
I was in California,
And they got infiltrated.
and they got wiped out.
Yeah.
They got wiped out by the police.
Yeah.
So, but could you explain? In the last few minutes we have here, how are the Crips and the Bloods come along to protect our community, and from who?
I can't say right now. I'm not a gang member, right? So that's something that you would have to actually literally go ask a Crip and a Blood. But all I know is when they first started, that was the whole mission of it, was to be something like the Panthers. They was helping the community, helping people out. It was protecting because they didn't want the police in there, in the community. And so...
But think about that, General.
Right.
You don't want the police in your community?
No, because the police is the one going around messing everything up. It's supposed to be.
So you give
Do you
them,
know the
you
origin
give
of
them
the police?
you give them no credit.
The
for what
origin
they
of the
do.
police was slave catchers.
I know. Yeah,
So what makes you think the mentality changed?
Well, we've had enough years that hopefully some of the mentality has changed. We've had black police chiefs. And we have a lot of blacks on the police force. I could bring some brothers from the San Antonio Police Department in here to talk to you, and you see a altogether different attitude about this. Man, they want to be able to protect our community.
And you know, there's certain police of color that come from those neighborhoods. Those aren't the ones doing the killings.
Oh, okay, but they're there.
They're there, but they're not. But they can't. The thing is, police have a code. It's like a fraternity.
Are you saying, then what I hear you saying is that you're judging the entire police force?
I mean, if there's one bad snake in the pile, most likely it's going to be some venom transferred around.
So you are taking the position that all police, the whole police force is against us and they're bad?
Not the individuals, but the overall objectives.
Now let me understand this. You're saying that the objective of the police force is to brutalize our community?
It just depends on how you look at it and how you see it. The way I see it through my eyes and visions, you got certain individuals that are there to help.
Okay.
Of course, you got your token people, but
wait, start. Hold right there.
Right.
So you said the police that are there to help are tokens?
You got the token ones, yeah, token people that were there to help. But as a whole, it's not when they riot, they're not helping the riots. Every time a riot happens, what normally goes down? Some violence breaks out between
the police and the rioters. Yeah.
I know with the pipeline, those people that was out there protesting the pipeline, they weren't being violent. It was the police that started all the violence.
I'm not really taking issue with your position that there are bad police. There's a lot of bad police. My only problem with our approach is that we try to label, put that jacket on all policemen.
Understood.
And so when they get that jacket, they're not going to want to come into our communities.
Right.
Therefore, that leaves our communities vulnerable to who? The
But
gangsters.
then that's when we have to come together as a people to say, hey, you know, that's when you need another Black Panthers. But they're not going to let us have another Black Panthers.
They're not going to let you have a vigilante group to keep law and order in this country.
It's same thing that happened with was the MOVE organization, right? They were there trying to do something more for the community, and they had their own militants, and they blew them out too. So, you know, it's like every time we have a group that tries to come together to do something better for the community, we always get ran out. So, if we
my
could,
producer's putting in my ear that we're out of time. So let me give you a couple, take a minute or so to wrap up, throw out your feelings about anything you want to my viewers. What is it you'd like to leave them with? What thoughts?
I like to leave everybody with just for the fact of that we're changing in this world, and it's not the same thing of that we've been accustomed to. Big change is coming, and it could be either good or bad. And the thing is, we just have to look at it from a wider point of view instead of a narrow point of view.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you for being my guest today, brother.
Thank you for having me. Definitely,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I want to wrap up by saying, notice the discussion. There are some differences in our thinking. I'm an older brother, this is a younger brother. Yes, but I think we're working our way towards a medium coming together.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we have to keep doing.
Exactly.
And all of this country, that's what we have to keep doing. And here at the Discussion with the Writer Fred, we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to tell our story our way.